Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, we're going to build this. This is a super simple strawberry hydroponic system. And these are NFT hydroponic strawberries held in with pucks. So I've done some pretty complex rain gutter grow systems designs. I apologize for the fixation on the rain gutter grow system. It's just such a rich vein. There is so many variations that you can do, and I want to explore them all before we move on to the next type of hydroponics. So hang in there. I will get around to, exploring flood and drain, deep water culture, and other active as well as passive systems more in depth. But for now, let's simplify the rain gutter grow system to the point where you only need a drill and a hole saw and your rain gutter. There's no fiddling around with complex pot designs or anything. We're gonna make a strawberry system that wicks from below in the simplest possible fashion, just like a self-watering pot, except this one refills. And we're gonna try and get as much strawberry growth out of one rain gutter that we possibly can with the space we've got. I've just pre-prepared a bunch of rain gutter grow systems like this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna adapt it to the hole sizing that I want for this system. Now the hole sizing that I've chosen is to fit a 125 millimeter grower's pot. I got these from Bunnings, but they're everywhere. The holes I'm doing today will be 95 millimeters. And that's because this channel is 100 millimeters across. It's actually slightly above that. I think it's 105 or something. And that gives me enough room to plug the pot in. These pots I chose with the channel width in mind so that they'll just slip in, and I should be able to have the bottom submerged in the nutrient solution. Now, if I cannot get the nutrient solution level enough and high enough, I may be adding in wick in the bottom later on in the video. And that is always an option, even if I don't end up doing that. It's just my redundancy plan. So I'm now gonna go along and make holes in the rain gutter grow system at 95 millimeters. And each of these holes is already 350 millimeters apart. So I'm just making holes directly in the center of those. You can space them however you like. I'm spacing them really close together because I wanna see how much productivity I can get out of one rail. All right. There we go. Just gonna empty this out. Now, hole saws can be expensive. So the way I got around this is I just purchased a downlight installation kit, just a cheap one, and that will do perfectly fine for your vinyl or PVC tubing. So now I actually wiggled these out. So they're a bit larger than 95 millimeters. And that's because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to fit these pots in deep enough because they get wider as the pot goes out. Now I'm going to set up the system, or at least figure out where I'm going to set up the system. I haven't planned that yet. Put on our float valve, get the level, make sure all the pots are touching the water somewhat. Then we can plant out our system with strawberries. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to have the system come along the front of the round pipe rain gutter grow system, just because there's a heap of sun here that's not being utilized, and I want to utilize that. Don't you love that? First time. So to make sure it's truly level, I'm just gonna fill it up with a watering can, and we'll put our pots in and see if we can get all of the bottoms of the pots submerged. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with one watering can full of hydroponic nutrient, and then the second watering can I'm gonna fill with water. So at this point I'm gonna throw on the float valve as well. So we'll just slide that in. Now, if you haven't seen one of these systems built before, you can check out the video just here. I designed these end caps so that you can 3D print them at home. And if you're interested in 3D printing and saving money on the end caps and whatnot, just check out that video. All the designs are available through my Patreon. So we'll just add that in like so, and that seals up that hole. What I'm going to do is, well, that looks like it's set almost perfectly. I'm going to fill up this system to about 2/3 of the way up, and we'll place the pots in and make sure that our pots are just slightly submerged. You don't want them submerged any more than they need to be because that will become an anoxic zone. Just slightly so that the cocoa is in contact with the water and can wick up. Okay, so as you can see, that is our water level. And on this specific design of pot that I've got, See how it's a cross at the bottom? That cross is elevated. So we're gonna aim to get outside of the cross into the water, and the top sections won't be submerged. Just like this. Only a tiny bit of the cocoa will be submerged, and the rest will just wick up into the bottom of that pot. Let's put in the other pots, and we can start filling them with our media. Now this next step is optional, just because I've already got the material. The two holes on the cross at the bottom of the pot, they're more likely to let the grow media fall through into the solution below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some lengths of cotton cord like this, and we're going to thread it through the bottom where this cross is, and we're going to put one end in there, and I'll put another end going down there. That way, if the water level does drop below the pots, these wicks will translate the nutrient solution from below the pot and up into the media. And that will help wick up from the very bottom. So I'm now going to go and do that for the rest of the pots. And this is what it looks like. All wicked up and ready to go. So I think it's time to plant. So one of the reasons I'm making this system is because I've loved the result that I've had in the hooch buckets and the hooch adapters, especially the hooch adapters. However, it's a timely and costly process if you don't already own a 3D printer, and I wanted to simplify it into something that anyone could do as long as you've got a drill or can borrow a drill. Look at how healthy these strawberries are. This is just wicking straight out of a rain gutter grow system. The same idea really. So I'm hoping that this system will open the rain gutter grow system to a lot more people that don't necessarily want to deep dive into the complexity of 3D printing and whatnot. For this system, we're going to use the same 60 cocoa 40 perlite that I use for most of my other cocoa perlite systems, a medium to coarse grain of perlite, and a hydroponic grade of cocoa. So we'll just mix this up. Make sure you do this outside or wear a mask or both. Don't do as I do. And then we're just going to fill up the bottom of our pots like this. Ready for these. These are strawberry crowns, which I've had delivered and only arrived today, which is why I'm building the system today. Last time I left these wrapped up in their newspaper and not many survived, but have a look at that. These are lovely and fresh. So the variety that these are, DPI Ruby Gen. They're specifically bred for the Queensland environment. DPI stands for Department of Primary Industries, who developed this strawberry genetics. I'm going to fill up the rest of the pots and we can introduce in our strawberry crowns. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take off all the dead leaves, anything that I think will rot, like that. I'll take these off later if they don't do anything, and I'll replant these into our pots. Huge, look at that. It's a monster. Look at the size of that. I need a bigger pot. We'll make sure the crown is above the media. Fill the pots up right to the top with media as well. You don't want to waste any pot space. Now the correct size for strawberries was 2 litres. I'd say these are about 1 litre, so I'd say they're going to be on the smaller side, but I'll let you know how that goes. Oh, highly recommend a chair when doing this. All right, they're all planted. Now I'm going to set up the float valve so it's functional and draws from my res. So for anyone that hasn't actually seen how the rain gutter grow system works, check out this video here. It'll just walk you through a build of the system and it'll give you a general idea of how you can put it together. Essentially, this float valve tops up this pipe with hydroponic nutrient from a reservoir which gravity feeds. So there's no power involved, it's an entirely passive wicking hydroponic system. Okay, so I've run all of the hosing to this point. Now I'm just going to add on my BSB to 13mm adapter to the end of my float valve. Put on some thread tape to up my fitting, and it's just a matter of pushing our hose connection on. Now I can add in my float cover and turn on the gravity feed at the res. And the file to print these is also available in the same file set as these on my Patreon. So I'll just clip that into there. There we go. Happily, I've got a few crowns left over. I think it's time we get the pucks out. So as you can see, the NFT hydroponic system is going fantastically. I've got a ton of different species throughout the NFT system, and I'm seeing tremendous growth. So this system is really working out for me. I really like the square pipe system, just using the rock wool plugs to drop the plants into the system. It gets me to full maturity with all of the greens, and it's working really well for like this crop, this is thyme. It's going nuts. I think you could get away with using this system for something like this bell cap with better management, which I haven't done. Yeah, perfect for greens. And this is why I really want to try strawberries in this system, because I don't think they'd be too big. They are fruiting, but I think the overall plant size would be perfect for the NFT format. I also really want to pair and contrast how they go in the NFT compared to how they go in the rain gutters. Although the rain gutter system is running on 2.4 EC, whereas the NFT is running on 1.5, so it won't be a fair contrast, but it'll still give us some idea of how they go. Now, fortunately, there's exactly 7 crowns left, and I've got exactly 7 spots in the NFT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up some pucks to go in these holes, and we'll puck them up and put them in the system. Now these holes are a 50mm hole saw. The pucks from the last system were made for a 64mm hole saw. So I'm just going to have to reduce the size of the pucks, and we'll see how they go. So let's make some pucks for this system. So this is just a shower base that I got cheap, and I use it for potting and watering, and everything just goes into the middle. So I'm just going to use this 64mm hole saw and cut this jigsaw foam to size. Now 64mm steps down to this 50mm key piece, which I'll then use to cut the notches in the puck. So I think these are a little bit too small. So I'm going to step up the size of the hole saw. This is a 73 or a 2 7/8 inch hole saw. I'm going to leave the center part in because the strawberry crowns are quite thick. So if we lose some foam in the center, I'm not particularly unhappy, and it'll help to center the drill. Now let's try that out. Like that. Look at that. I'll go straight down the center. There is your puck. Let's try that out. Oh, stop it. Now we can put our strawberry crowns in them. So it's just a simple matter of opening your puck, surrounding the crown like so, and you just drop it in like that. The center hole could be a little bit bigger. That's better, hey? All right, we'll just pop that in. Look at that. So I'm just widening a couple out because, I mean, the crowns are large. The foam is soft though. As they grow out, the foam will just push aside and they'll start to support themselves, like these plants here. There you go. Bonus NFT hydroponic strawberries held in with pucks. Okay, so it's been 7 days since I planted these strawberries. You can tell because this strawberry has gone completely red and is ready for harvest. And a ton of my lettuce has gone missing because it's been eaten. So I'm actually really happy with the progress that these strawberries are making. As you can see, in some of the extreme cases, they've started pushing out their leaves already, and even in the less extreme cases, we've got all of them showing signs that they are reviving from that crowned state. There's not a single one that isn't showing signs of greening. All of the cocoa is a nice, moist, rich, dark brown. You can tell that all of these pots are wicking all the way to the top of the pot, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. So I'm really happy with the way that this system is working at the moment. And as for the NFT strawberries, we can see that some of them are starting to show signs of green, so that is good. They are reviving. They're not reviving as quickly as the rain gutter grow system ones, and I'd say that is just down to the amount of moisture around those roots. Only the bottom part of the roots, only the bottom of the roots is in contact with that nutrient film. I have faith that they will come back. They might just take a little bit more time. Well, I think I deserve a taste of my future success. So let's see what success tastes like. That is a nice looking strawberry. Yum. Oh, I've been looking forward to eating this strawberry for a long time. Tastes like success. Really good. I'm super impressed. I'm so happy with how this system's turning out and how these systems are producing. Hope you enjoy this episode of Hoochos. Happy hydroponicking, and I'll see you next time on Hoochos. That is so good.